Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast. Okay, we've got a special episode today, and we're going to be talking about the entrepreneurial mindset. And we're going to touch on what is the mindset, what you need to know about the mindset, when you have to find a partner or create a team around it if you don't have the mindset, and how do you set milestones and goals? So welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm.
All right, where is the boy wonder?
Hello, welcome,
Hey.
welcome. We've got a pre-recorded episode. It's good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Right now, we're probably in Mexico.
Yep, sipping some daiquiris, enjoying
Well,
the sun.
you are.
I'll be behind.
Coca-Cola in Mexico tastes different than anywhere else, and it's the best. So I'll be sipping on Coca-Cola, and you'll be having daiquiris.
Yes,
so
yeah,
there you go.
Plan.
Yeah. So, okay, what's happening? What do you have to do? You slam, ring, do your thing.
Yeah, so let me take this over. We're going to smash those like buttons. Give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying today's episode. This is a pre-recorded episode, but I am actually behind the screen right now watching live, and I'll be popping in on the screen right now to say hello. And with some editing, fancy editing, I'll be back here. And yeah, today is going to be a great episode. We've had Regina on. She was one of our first guests, so it's good to have her back. It's been too long, I think. And if you are not a member of our Lunch with Norm family, you can go over to our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA and e-commerce collective. That is where the Beard Nation is, or our Beardos, as we like to call them. If you have any questions, comments about the show, questions about Amazon, selling on e-commerce, this is the group to join. So make sure you head on over there, and I think we can get started. One last thing, if you are watching from YouTube right now, if you can look down below and hit that big subscribe button and ring that bell, we'd really appreciate it. And I think that's it.
Very good, Kelsey. Very good. Very, very good. Maybe, have you had daiquiris today? You're a little bit too
I think smooth. I will after this.
Okay. All right. So like Kelsey said, one of the most important things on the pre-records is that we will have Kelsey come in and be talking live. We'll be doing the Wheel of Kelsey, and there is a giveaway today, just like we have every episode. So that'll be held live. So if you're commenting or if you have questions, stay tuned to the end, and that'll be the hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people, and you'll get another entry. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, throw them over in the comments section and we will get to them. I was talking to Regina earlier. She said that she'd be happy to go into the group and answer any questions that you may have for her. Okay, so let's sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and welcome Regina.
And I have my coffee. Hey,
very good.
So good to see you. As you were making that introduction, you know what I recalled? That we first met in Mexico. 2017, I think it was.
Yep. Cancun.
Wow. Cancun at that famous event. And I don't know if you've been up to date where one of the speakers there is currently in jail. I don't know if you've been
I just heard. He did something naughty.
He did something naughty, but
you know what? This is the power of networking. I talk about it. You meet some incredible people. If I go back to that, I came out of Mallorca. There was an amazing event 1 week before that. Decided to take the trip down to Cancun. I think I was the last person to purchase the ticket. And this was for, it was a Helium 10. Well, it was called the Illuminati back then. It was
Illuminati, that's right.
Elite, I like the Illuminati.
So I still have my funny, remember they gave us those funny USB sticks. But,
Yeah, I got pulled over in Detroit coming across the border because they thought it was some sort of device. It looked like a pipe bomb.
It did.
Do you remember?
I think I still have mine floating around.
I got
somewhere.
mine.
And because the way that it was set up, if your laptop was actually sitting on your desk, you couldn't put it in because it was too big and round.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. But anyways, it's come a long way. And the amount of connections, and any of the listeners, especially the new listeners, I know that sometimes you can't go out and pay for these expensive events, but go in, get part of a mastermind, get engaged, ask questions. And when you can, if there's a meetup, I know Carlos Alvarez has all sorts of meetups in Florida. Take part, and you won't see information from 5 years ago that is not important. And a lot of people make mistakes by looking at these horrible YouTube videos that were done years ago, or even now with old advice, which, just sucks.
And as they say, you're the sum of the people you surround yourself with.
Right.
So,
right.
Get yourself surrounded with people who are doing better than you. Generally is my advice. Stretch yourself and get yourself in rooms where you feel uncomfortable. I think is really, really important. So a shameless plug here, Norm, is the event that I'm running in Australia in July is modeled after the events that I have spent years going to, like that one in Mexico and others that I've been to in Vegas, where we sort of get, the brains trust in the room and lock the doors basically. So you can't help but learn and grow.
Yeah, that's exactly. And you said something very important, being uncomfortable. So if you can, one of the things I had a hard time doing was talking like in front of anybody. Now it's much better now, but I don't know if you remember the first time I ever said anything, I was sick, just to talk to anybody. And this is even in front of 10 or 20 people.
Yeah, I remember you as the shy guy in the corner. It's like, who's that strange guy with the beard? And,
yeah. But you did
like sit next to you to sort of pull some information to go, oh my God, that strange guy with the beard is like really knows his shit.
But it's so important that you kind of get out of your comfort zone. And I was out of my comfort zone, but I got to, even just going up and introducing yourself. I'm in more of an introvert than anything. And it's outside. And this is all part of today's topic, by the way. If people think we're off topic, no, we're talking about entrepreneurial mindset. And that's part of it. Working with smarter people, working outside of your mindset, or outside of your comfort zone. And, just how do you, or where can you go to become better at what you do? So we were talking about this just beforehand. We're going, what's the best thing to talk about? And Regina, you nailed it. It is going to be mindset, entrepreneurial mindset in the e-commerce marketplace, or just as a small e-commerce business person. What is mindset? What's your definition of mindset, entrepreneurial mindset?
Look, mindset is really, it's like, how do you get up in the morning and what are you thinking about yourself and your business? I mean, really, that's what it's about. If you get up in the morning and look at yourself and go, oh, geez, I've got to go make some money, right? And goodness, this is hard, and what am I going to do? Then you're setting yourself up for, if not failure, certainly a struggle. If you get up in the morning with a mindset of, okay, I'm here, I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing, I'm going to find products that help people, I genuinely love what I'm doing, okay, then you're more likely to be able to survive all those hurdles that are thrown at us as entrepreneurs, right? Nobody's saying it's rainbows and roses and unicorns, right? You try getting onto seller support, okay? So you have to be of a mindset. It's like, what is it that I'm actually wanting to achieve, and what am I going to need to think to to myself and say to myself in order to accomplish what it is that I want to achieve. It's that old, who do I have to be to have the things that I want to have, rather than the other way around. A lot of people say, when I've got $1 million, I'll be this, that, and the other. It's like, well, actually, you've got to think like you've got $1 million, even if you've got, negative, $1 million, which a lot of us do have, entrepreneurs. It's that old, in some ways you have to fake it till you make it, but you've got to fake it till you make it to yourself first. You've really got to trick yourself and your brain, I believe, to believe that you can do this, and that will pull you towards your goals. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think one other area that every entrepreneur, you're going to see everybody at their best, but that's not the case.
No.
There are so many, like even myself, all of my friends that are entrepreneurs have all failed.
Of course.
If you don't, you never learn. And anybody who says that's successful, either it's a one-time wonder, whatever the expression is, but you will. And what I love seeing, I don't love seeing, but what I look at are the younger generation, because I wish I was part of the younger generation.
I know,
but they
right?
maybe they had a home run with their first product, or they're a product service provider, and they just made a lot of money, but then they're cocky as hell.
Yeah.
Well,
and all of a sudden they made $2.50 or $2 million 50, and all of a sudden they're an expert.
Yeah. And then it goes away.
And it goes away. One of my early mentors, way back when I was a young pup, before I was an entrepreneur, I had a very dear friend who, as a joke, he lost his license. He had a Rolls Royce and he lost his license. So I used to drive him around and he would sit in the back, just for the fun of it. And I remember him telling me back then, and he made millions and lost millions and made millions and lost millions. And he basically said, look, every time I lose it, I know I'm not worried about it because I know how to do it and I'll make it back.
Right.
And he has,
Yep.
and, in the 30, 40 years I've known him, he's had probably 5 or 6 hugely successful businesses and probably 50 that have failed. Because he's always, he's always in the game. He's always doing things. He's just got that mindset. It's like, right, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to try. If it fails, not a problem. I'll try next time. And I think it's that tenacity that's really, really important. And it's that, as you say, that when things don't go how you want them to do, how you react to that. Do you then say, oh my God, I'm a failure. That's it. Nothing's ever going to work. Or do you pick yourself up, learn the lessons, and say, right, well, that didn't work. What is going to work? What can I do next time that's going to be different? What did I learn? What did I do right? So I can replicate that bit. And what did I do wrong so I don't replicate that bit? And of course, you can learn it all yourself. But, if you want to really shortcut it, is learn it from other people.
Yeah.
Learn it from... and there's so many, mentors and, I don't want to say coaches, but role models of people who've failed. Learn from their failures as well as your own, because that'll, speed things up for you if you learn from others as well.
I like the expression "fail to succeed."
Yeah. Fail fast.
Fail fast, but you'll learn, and you don't have to call it a failure. I don't know. Do you know Todd Snively?
I do. In fact, Todd was at that event in Mexico as well.
Yes, he was. I didn't know him then. He was one seat behind me.
Yes.
On the plane.
He had his little coach. He had his little coterie of fans with him, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. But Todd Snively, I did an interview with him on my other podcast. I know this guy. And he lost everything. He had planes. He had his own planes. He lost $100 million. He was thrown into federal prison because of something he didn't do. Amazing. This is nothing that he said it on the podcast. If he was telling me this privately, I wouldn't say anything.
It's not private. Gotcha.
He told me about what happened. He told me about the regulations and what caused this, and how it was completely misinterpreted. The government, I mean, it was bad. Anyways, he took the hit. He took it. He came out, and he had to reestablish his life. So he just lost $100 million. Now, what does he do? He goes to work, driving a forklift, working in a warehouse, trying to reestablish, and he sees a loophole. He sees Amazon wholesale.
Yeah.
He takes a skid, he sells it. He goes, wow, I could sell this. He gets more. He asks the guy that he works for if he can, maybe take up a bit of space. That little bit of space right now is $100 million business.
Yep. And that's it. And he bounced back because his mindset was such. It's like, right. And you said, and firstly, he took responsibility, right? You said he took the hit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's something else that I think is really important for entrepreneurs, is to take responsibility both for your successes and also for your failures, and not, blame, like, oh, well, it was, it's Amazon's fault, or it's the customer's fault, or it's Facebook's fault, or it's somebody's fault. It's like, well, yes, that shit happens, right? But at the end of the day, we take responsibility for our outcomes. And I think that is one of the most important parts of mindset that a lot of the gurus and the rah-rah gurus on stage, they rarely talk about that. They talk about the motivation, but they rarely talk about the responsibility.
The money, the Lamborghinis, the
Lambos. I don't know if you've seen my new Lambo that I bought. I bought myself a little mini. I bought myself a little mini. It's a little mini. It's a teeny tiny little car. When you come to Australia in a couple of months' time, I'll try and take you out for a spin. I think your head will just hit the roof.
Oh my gosh!
But it's super fun. It's electric. It goes as fast as a Lambo.
Oh, that's crazy.
But yes, so yes, it's not about the Lambos. It's about taking responsibilities for your failures, learning from them, and also being responsible for your success.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain traits, you've gotta stay positive. You're the only person that, as an entrepreneur, I mean, that's who you have to lean on. And that's why it's so important to get into these networking groups and get to know people, your peers, because it's a very lonely life.
It is a very lonely life. And especially, I'm in Melbourne, and the last couple of years have been particularly tough for us.
Yeah.
And so, being able to reach out across the world to, people that I've had connections with. I think the last time you and I saw each other was just before lockdowns in LA, wasn't it? At that.
That's right. Over at
women's conference.
Yep, in Manhattan Beach. Yeah,
Manhattan Beach. That's right. So I made some amazing contacts and close friends that obviously I haven't seen since then, but I've been able to reach out to them and formed relationships at that event, plus other events that I've been to, and I think that's super, super important. So most of us as Amazon sellers and e-commerce entrepreneurs, we're working from our lounge rooms, our dining rooms. If we're really fab, we might go to a WeWork or a cafe. But generally we're doing it alone. And it's really important to have a network and a team of people that you can reach out to help you, not just with stuff, but also in those times where you're feeling like crap. It's like, it's good to, something bad happens in your business and you go, oh shit, I just feel like crap. I know that there's nothing I can do about it, but it's good to have somebody you can talk to that perhaps has been there or perhaps can understand, because often our families, they don't understand what it means when Amazon shuts down one of your ASINs for, some policy violation that you've got no idea what it is, right? You can't really talk to your cousin or your sister about that unless they're in your business, right? But you can talk to somebody that through through a community, and I think that is super, super important. There was something else about positive positive mindset. You know, people sort of go, oh, you know, all this positive thinking, da 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 da. It's not just the thinking, it's that self-talk. You know, you really have to catch yourself as to what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying? What's that voice in your head saying to you? And I'm acutely aware of that at the moment. I have a teenager, you know, and, you know, teenagers these days go through shit. And so that has sort of like really come even more to the fore in my life at the moment is, you know, what are you saying to yourself? What, because, you know, if you're not kind to yourself, how do you expect other people to be kind to you? If you don't say nice things to yourself, why do you think other people should? You know, it really starts with your own self worth and your belief in yourself and how do you value yourself. And from how you value yourself, it becomes what do you think you deserve? And then that becomes how do you treat your business and do you believe that your business will give you what you deserve? You know, I'm getting a little bit esoteric here, but I really believe that unless you believe you deserve to have the riches and the abundance that your business can give you, you're not going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll learn very quickly that unless you positive mindset, you've got to be able to do this you've got to be able to handle stress.
Yes.
And people can learn how to handle stress. Entrepreneurial mindset, I don't know if you could learn bits and pieces of it, but it really takes that individual. Like for me, working a corporate job, I couldn't do it. I can't do it. It would drive me crazy. It's a different mindset.
I haven't had a job as such since I was like 19. You know, I'm unemployable, right? I just don't have the personality for it. I just don't.
Yeah, I am the same way. I have to be on my own. I have to be able to make decisions. Anyways, one of the things that I think is very important, you know, the positive, be resilient, be able to be decisive, don't what if things to death. But a friend of mine, Brian Hansel, came on, and it was an unfortunate event. I mean, horrible event. But his son had committed suicide when he was in university. So he came up with a foundation called the Paul Hansel Foundation. And this is what entrepreneurs have to learn, is to talk about mental health, especially entrepreneurs. Because, you know, today I got an 8-figure seller that I know. He just sent me this article, and it was all about mental health, depression within entrepreneurs.
Super important. Yeah, super important.
I'm not surprised at this, but the amount of people that I know that are successful entrepreneurs, intermediate entrepreneurs, people trying to get into the business, how many people actually have depression, anxiety? But like Brian says, you have to have that health checkup. You know, you've got to, like you were saying, you've got to have that health talk in your head, because I know if I'm depressed, if I get depressed, and I do, I get sick.
Yeah, we all do. We get physically sick.
Yep.
And it can manifest itself as just, you know, well, instead of getting up and doing my PPC campaigns, I'm going to sit and watch Netflix for 10 hours.
Judge Judy.
Or Judge Judy, or Young and the Restless, or whatever is your, you know, mental chewing gum, as I call it. And that becomes, you know, that's a symptom of depression, you know. So, you know, mental health is, again, super important. And again, I'm going through all of this at the moment. I have a teenager in the house who's having issues in that area. So it's very top of mind in my life right now. And I think for all entrepreneurs, it is super important. So if you're in any way struggling, you know, it's not a sign of failure to ask for help. And whether that's help from your friends, your colleagues, or professional, you know, help, it is absolutely actually a sign of strength. In fact, most of the most successful entrepreneurs I know, you know, are constantly asking for help to dig through whatever, you know, if they've gone through trauma in the past, and, you know, most of us have in some way or another, whether we think it's trauma or not, you know, get it sorted. and get on with it, because that sort of stuff can slow you down subconsciously. Again, it goes back to those feelings of, what I deserve.
Yeah. And you're 100% right, because I've been there, done it, bought the t-shirt about you can become extremely sick, over things. And this is the thing. If I went back to my early days, so I used to have a grandfather clock business. And the second I started it, within half a year to a year, GST came in, or the North American NAFTA came in, wiped out my business overnight, wiped out everything, lost everything, all because of a condition. I could not control it. But anyway, I was sick. Ulcer sick. Like, you could not sleep at night.
Knots, yes.
Oh yeah. And how do I pay? Oh my gosh. And I think I was going to be out 40 grand or something like that. That was like,
it's the end of the world.
How could I handle it?
Of course.
Well, if I take a look at all these not little things, but all these significant events going back 10, 20, 30, 40 years, it would be now.
Yeah, of course.
I don't give it a second thought. And the
but
reason I don't,
you've trained yourself to do that, right? That wasn't instinctive. Like you've learned and you've trained and you've worked that resilience muscle in you, and that stress, you've found ways to handle the stress. Entrepreneurial life is stressful. So you need outlets. You can't be 24/7 in your business. You've got to go out, find whatever it is that makes your heart sing. That's the word I like to use. So for me, it's art, and most recently collecting useless JPEGs in the NFT market. But, that's my thing. Yours might be going to the gym. It might be going for a walk. It might be going to the beach. It might be, whatever it is that takes your mind out of your business to give it a break, because you need to give your, you need to step away from the business from time to time so that you have a bigger picture, so you can look back on it from a bit of a distance. Give your mind a break, and that'll give you more ideas of creativity. Turn off the screens, get away from the input, so that your brain is able to be more creative. I think that's really important. We're so addicted to the screens and the input that we get from everybody. There's so much input coming into our brains now that we rarely give them a rest, and it's hard to be creative, right? Some of my best ideas that I've had is when I've literally turned everything off and gone for a walk in the forest for half an hour. And that's it, nothing, no podcast, no music, just a walk in nature. And I've had the most amazing, that's when I've had my bouts of creativity. Now, that's worked for me personally. Again, for you, it may be, throwing axes. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ideas. Maybe gardening, whatever it is, but switch off, and make an appointment with yourself to switch off, right? It's these sorts of things, because we get so busy. You look at your calendar, it's like, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this to do. We get so busy, we tend to leave that last. And I think it's really important that we make ourselves first, and we actually schedule that time in, whether it's, it may just be half an hour a week, or it may be 10 minutes a day, whatever it is that you need. If you're into meditation, meditate, whatever is your version of meditation. Fishing, exactly. I believe, is the men's version of meditation, right?
There we go.
That's how the blokes can meditate. They go fishing, right?
Yeah.
But whatever it is for you, again, this is going back to mindset and mental health. Switch off, unplug for however long that you can cope. I did a really interesting exercise the other day. I did 4 hours of silence as part of an exercise, and let me tell you, it was hard. It was like literally I just had to sit, no input, no book, no music, no nothing, just sit and be with my thoughts for 4 hours as an exercise.
Wow.
And it took me 3 goes. The first time I managed to make it an hour. Second time I didn't get past half an hour. And it was hard, right? And it's amazing how hard it is. It didn't used to be so hard, but in our world now, and how plugged in we are, to be able to unplug and just sit or walk or whatever it is that you want to do for any length of time, I think we need to rework that muscle, that being by ourselves quietly and focusing on our thoughts. And, that's where creativity comes from. And, going back to our businesses, that's where you think of, products and marketing ideas and ways that we can help people. I was telling you before we jumped on, Norm, in my Fortunet role, I come across, some really interesting brands and businesses, and I look at them and go, oh my God, that's amazing. I never would have thought of that. And yet people do. People come up with the most amazing ideas and ways. And anybody who's saying it's too late to get onto Amazon, well, that's all, a load of BS, because I'm seeing businesses that have taken less than 18 months to do over millions of over $1 million, 7-8 figures in 12, 18 months. People are able to build brands that are just amazing. So it's all still out there. If you are creative, you can't just take a Me Too product, and we know that. And we've been, you and I have been saying that for years.
Yeah.
Right. How are you going to differentiate? How are you going to solve a problem? How are you going to find a different niche that's going to love that product? It may be the same as somebody else's. Again, I came across a brand yesterday that sells the same products that I do. But they've just done it in such an amazingly beautiful way. And it makes me super jealous. Like, God, I wish I thought of doing it that way. Same product, but they've just packaged it and marketed it in a way that is just so beautiful and unique that, I'm in awe. I go, amazing, right? So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reinvent the widget. You have to find a way to find what is your unique selling proposition for that widget, or what is the new market? What's a niche that widget is not being sold to. So that's there you go. That's my little rant about about products. It's not about the product. It's about the markets and the niches. There you go.
Yeah.
The riches
absolutely.
are in the niches. That's it. And then, that's a tagline that's been used forever. The riches are in the niches. That's it. That's where they are.
No, and that's 100%. I can't agree more. I mean, it's just absolutely 100%. Like, look at you go back to what Tim and Bradley. So Tim Jordan, Bradley Sutton were preaching in Project X, looking for those special niches within the niche. So that's where a lot of money can be made. But just if you're listening right now, if you've had any experiences that you'd like to share, or how you got out of it, love to hear it. We love to be able to share personal experiences with people. If you failed to succeed, if you could put it in the comments, tell us what happened. You don't have to be specific. And then how did you come out of it? Love to hear that. If you've got some pointers for entrepreneurs that are trying to get into the business, what kind of advice can you give? So we know that this is pre-recorded. Kelsey is going to be monitoring this while I'm away. And we do have a Wheel of Kelsey today. So any of you who have listened to the podcast before know that you have to just hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll get a second entry. And Regina is doing something special. I wasn't expecting this, but she said she would do it for our podcast. So what is that exactly, Regina?
Look, I don't coach anymore. However, I'm more than happy to jump on a private one-on-one call with people that choose to for half an hour to talk about anything that you want to in your entrepreneurial business. So whether that's actually looking at your listings, or whether it's to talk about a mindset thing, or to look at where, how to grow your business, or if you're looking possibly to exit in the future and you want some ideas on how to set that up, whatever you want to talk about, I'll make myself available for half an hour to help you in any way I possibly can. Or if you just want to chat about what it's like in Australia, that's all good.
Yeah. That's perfect. So again, if you want to take advantage of that 30-minute consult, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, you'll get 2 entries. Kelsey, I hope you're ready. Get your finger on the button. Let's hear from our sponsor. A big thank you to our sponsor, Startup Club, the largest club on Clubhouse with over 790,000 members and growing. They're one of the world's largest communities supporting the startup ecosystem, from founders to those wishing to work for a startup and everything in between. You can find them at www.startup.club for blogs, recordings, and a calendar of upcoming shows, and on the Clubhouse app. Just search Startup Club for daily shows 24/7. You can also now listen to their show, the Serial Entrepreneur Club podcast, on Apple and Spotify too. Stop by to connect, learn, and grow together. Okay. So let's go the
Wow,
other.
Clubhouse. Wow, Clubhouse.
Yes, yes. You know, this is, I love paradigm shifts. When everybody from Amazon went on Clubhouse
Oh,
and they were
that was
talking
amazing.
24/7, and it
And
was
no work got done.
nothing happened.
It
And
was
then
about a 2-month period, wasn't it? And then all of a sudden it just all went.
it all went. But the people who are on Clubhouse right now, especially in startup, so the Startup Club, they're all entrepreneurs looking for answers.
Amazing.
And they're there. So anyways, it's kind of interesting how Clubhouse rolled out, because I just think that too many people just rolled in from Amazon giving same content with the same people. It just got too much.
Yeah.
And so anyways, if that startup club, they have a variety of different entrepreneurial topics, all sorts of people like
Oh, nice. I might sort of fire up my app again. It's still sitting on my phone. I just haven't been in for ages.
Well, Startup Club's actually a website too, where you can go and listen to incredible, like high successful entrepreneurs. Like they have one club called Serial Entrepreneur, and like Mr. Wonderful's been on there. There's been a ton. I can't remember everybody right now, but they've got just so many interesting ways of, first of all, dealing with mindset, building a business, scaling your business. Anyways,
important things. Yeah,
it's really cool. Anyway, I didn't mean to go down that.
That's okay. Well, that's my fault because I brought that up.
So let's go on the other side of this right now.
Sure.
So we talk about entrepreneurial mindset, and we know that not everybody has the mindset. A lot of people can't have zero entrepreneurial mindset.
Yep.
What if you're one of those people that have zero entrepreneurial mindset? They can't. They're not wired that way.
And you know what? And that's perfectly fine. So what you want to do is you want to find either a partner, a business partner, or a team who are. It's the old thing. If you've got 2 business partners who think the same, one of them is redundant, right? So you want to find somebody who's the opposite of you. So if you are not entrepreneurial and you prefer to bury your head in spreadsheets and really love doing that kind of stuff, which is super, super important, then you need to find yourself who's the opposite, who is the person that's going to jump into fires and then be creative. The same way as people like us who are entrepreneurial, we need to find people that come up after us and then sweep up, and pick up the pieces as we create the problems. So you need to, find somebody, is that either a business partner or a team or a service provider who is able to pick up the slack that you can't. Find the opposite. It's that old, surround yourself with complementary people who do the things that you can't do.
That's a great point. Now, there are certain things that you can pick up. I gave an example of stress, how to reduce stress. What are some of the other things that you think people can pick up to help hone their skills?
Look, it's stress reduction. It really, again, it comes back to the basics of thinking. Also, being very clear around your goals. Goal setting is sort of trope that everybody talks about. And I've sort of come to the realization that it's now, you set your goal and it's got to be this or better. So it's like, what is my goal? Where do I want to be in 5 years? And look, 5-year goals we know are likely to change, but it's just something to aim for. It's something that it's a stretch, okay? And then bring it back down to 1 year. Okay, what is it that I want to accomplish in 1 year? Then bring it down to quarterly. Okay, in order to accomplish this in the 1 year, what do I need to do quarterly? What do I need to do weekly? And what do I need to do today that's going to propel me down to that big goal? So chunk it down. This is the old, how do I eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So you want to take your big goal. Okay, if you're just starting out, to have $1 million business may seem right out of your comfort zone. So say, okay, well, in order to have that happen, I need to have X number of products, making X number of dollars profit per day. Okay, if I can have 5 products selling, 5 units a day at $10 a unit, and I'm just making these numbers up because I don't remember. But I remember that's what I did when I first started. I had like a whole notebook. It's like, okay, if I have a product that's making $10 a day, how many units a day do I have to sell of that product in order to make this much profit? Because that's what we look at. We don't look at top line sales, right?
Yeah.
We want to talk about profit because that's the money we take home. That some people forget to talk about. They post all their sales screenshots and forget to talk about profit. How much profit does my product need to make? Okay, so in order to make 10 sales a day, 20 sales a day, whatever that number is for you, what do I have to do? Okay, what do I have to do? What do my listings have to look like? How much do I need to spend on PPC? What is my target ACOS? So you really want to chunk it right down to the small things that you can get up every day and say, okay, today I need to look at this that's going to get me to my profit goal of X amount in the next 12 months that will get me in 5 years to my Lamborghini or whatever it is.
Right.
Okay. So look at your goal setting in a stretch, but also realistic way, and chunk it right down to actionable things that you can do. Because it's all great to have these vision boards and goals and positive thinking. That's all great. And it's important and you need to do it. But until you actually do the work that needs to be done to get to those goals, nothing's going to get done. I'm not a fan of, The Secret. You gotta like, it's all going to come by magic. Okay. Because look, it can, but at the end of the day, you still have to do those little things. And it can be just little things, check your PPC campaigns. Are you bleeding? Where are you bleeding? I had one of my Fortunet clients a couple of weeks ago was talking to, and he was looking to change his, PPC provider. He'd had these, VAs, and I'm bleeding. I'm not making, I'm making $100,000 in sales a month, but I'm losing money. What's going on? I'm like, well, have you had a look at your PPC? What's your conversion rate? He didn't even know where to find his conversion rate on his products and what that meant.
Oh.
And I said, well, take a look at your own PPC. Look at your campaigns. And he literally, a week later, he sent me a message saying, hey, Regina, I did that. And all of a sudden, I've saved myself $7,000 a week, right? And that's pure profit we're talking about. And all he did was look at his own campaigns instead of farming it out to people who promised the world but didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah.
So, you've got to take responsibility for your business. It's great to have somebody else run your campaigns and do your things, but at the end of the day, you still have to take responsibility and take a look. And if you're not getting the results you want, what are you doing about it?
I remember, I don't know if it was 17, 18, 19, 20, but Amazing had put on one of their, it was a SellerCon. And I remember this one because I just got off a plane, and it was like from the plane to the hotel, and I was dead. But what they had was it was Jason Katzenbeck and Mike McClary did a whole day on goal setting. Yeah, it was fantastic the way that they had set it up. But one of the things that came out of it, and I believe strongly in this, is especially if you're just not just, but an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
find an accountability partner.
Yeah.
If you can do that and you can hold each other accountable, you'll see that that will make a big difference. And the other thing I like to touch on,
Mm.
and this is super important, is find, it could be a coach. They come under many names: coach, mentor, somebody that can help you understand and hone your skills. But it's important. And if you have to pay for it, pay for it.
Pay for it. It's because it'd be cheaper than failing in often cases, right? Then the financial failure is going to be more expensive than paying a coach or different coaches. You might have to have a coach for your PPC, depending on the size of your business, and you might also want to be paying somebody who understands numbers. An accountant. Marketing, advertising, branding are things. What the course sellers tend to not tell people who get into this business is, an Amazon business, you've got to be everything, right? You've got to understand branding, marketing, sales, product, sourcing, shipping. You've got to become a logistics expert. It's cash flow. Cash flow is huge. You have to understand your cash flow. Like if you're a growing brand, and this is, again, people talk about these, that's right, these numbers, we're doing, $100,000 a month, $150,000 a month. And when you're a new seller, you go, oh my God, I really want that. But in order to sell $100,000 a month, how much money do you have to have invested in product, sitting in warehouses and on ships and in factories? So your cash flow, you've got to understand that and really have somebody explain it to you if you don't understand it. How are you going to grow? How are you going to fund it? We've all been through these, issues. It's easier now than it was, when I started in 2015 to fund growth, but it's still, it's a minefield out there. If you are on this especially explosive growth, which everybody's aiming for, it's not necessarily a great thing. You may be better off slowly and bootstrap it. Bootstrap it and slowly so that you're not out of your comfort zone. Not everybody is comfortable going to sleep at night with millions of dollars in loans for product that's sitting in warehouses they don't know if it's going to sell or not. Okay. For a lot of people, that's too much stress. And if that's you, that's fine. Don't do it. Stay within what you are comfortable with so you don't lose sleep. At the end of the day, it's a lifestyle business. What are we doing this for? We're doing this so that we can live the lives that we want to live, to have that freedom to make choices in our lives. And the financial side is only part of that freedom.
And
another little rant.
No, this is perfect. And I think it's very, very important that if you're doing this because you think money is going to make you happy, wait. Because it can be the worst thing that happens. So, I mean, it's great that it can happen and you could get the things that you want. But I know with me, I found that all of a sudden you have a couple cars. All of a sudden there's televisions in every room. You're buying ahead of what you come to expect a certain lifestyle. And then if there is a glitch, all of a sudden you're not prepared for it and everything falls through the cracks. Been there, done it, bought the t-shirt.
Yeah.
So
we all have.
Yeah. So the other thing, the other thing.
The other thing. Yeah. There's lots of other things.
But one thing that's helped me out early on, I had a crazy hyper growth company back in the 90s. And it was I don't even know. It was all over the map. So we were hiring fast. We didn't know how to hire. We were hiring tons of people. Anyways, at the end of the day, I joined an association. At the time, it was called YEO. It's now
the Young Entrepreneurs Association. Is it called something else now?
Yeah, it's called EO, Entrepreneurial Organization. And this saved my life. It's I got my head back. I could think again. But the very first thing it does is it allows you to go and meet a group of peers that aren't necessarily in your business. You go, you can learn from other great entrepreneurs within your community, or if you're traveling, you go to their meetings.
Yeah.
Then you create a forum. Now, the forum consists of non-competing people, but they become your board of trustees and or board of advisors, and you can go to them with anything.
Yeah.
My forum still meets 27 years after we first met.
Amazing.
And we're all different areas now. We don't belong to the same EO. I wasn't an EO. I was traveling all over. But what happens is that you form this camaraderie. You're not worried to talk. You're provided all this advice that you would never, ever know. And it's just a great organization. So that's one. Your chamber.
Oh, look, there's so many, as you said, like Chamber of Commerce, depending on where you live, that there's got to be, entrepreneurial groups and clubs. Was it like Meetup these days? You can just go online and find a meetup in your area. There will definitely be something that's not just e-commerce related. And you're right. You can just general entrepreneurs. I went to an event in March on the Gold Coast here in Australia, which was, for retailers. So it wasn't, specifically for e-commerce. So there was a lot of pure play e-commerce, but there was also bricks and mortar. There was marketplace. There was Amazon. There was like everybody. And it was amazing to see the innovation that's happening in that space. It almost made me want to open a retail shop again, but I had to smack myself and say no. Been there, done that. But things are changing so fast, and there's so many, and like the ideas, and it opened my eyes to other avenues and other channels. So as much as it's important to be going to e-com events, it's also important to be going to general entrepreneurial, because you pick up things, and like maybe somebody who's got a SaaS company or a local restaurant has got a way of marketing that you can say, oh, I really like that. Maybe I can use that in my e-com business.
Right.
Okay? It's and vice versa. You can share what you know with them. It's got to be an exchange. And then again, that's why masterminds are so important. So I'm going to do another plug. Looking forward to seeing you, Norm, in July in Australia. So if you're listening to this or watching this in Australia, reach out to me for the Amazon Collective Mastermind Retreat at the end of July, where Norm and some of his buddies are joining us in Australia for the first time, which is amazing. Plus some of Australia's largest sellers are coming. We're going to sell out. It's a small event, so we're going to sell out. It's going to be fantastic.
So we'll make sure that Kelsey puts in all of the information in the comments section. If you're interested, I think it's going to be amazing. I wouldn't go I would go to Australia because I've never been there. But look, it's a long way to go.
For you to come. Yeah.
And this event is going to be fantastic. So if you are in Australia, or if you'd like to just go and check it out, I think it would be something worth your while.
New Zealand, Asia, like if you're, within, we tend to travel more around here. We go longer distances than a lot of the Americans. But come to Australia. It's our borders are open. We're all good.
Yeah, and you've got some great speakers there as well. So
we have great speakers, but also more, as important, if not more, is the other sellers that are in the room.
Exactly.
The second one that we've run, we ran one in March where, our borders were closed, so we couldn't have any international guests. And literally the firepower in the room. And the other amazing thing was, when you think that the seller community in Australia is quite small, and yet not one person in the room knew everybody else in the room. There was, people coming from all different areas, that had come into Amazon from different training programs and that didn't know each other, from different other external masterminds that didn't know each other. And so we were able to create a new community. And so some of the people that there in March are coming back. And there's a lot of new people that are, applying to come. and it's sort of for the medium to large sellers. It's 6 to 7, 8-figure sellers. It's not for newbies. Okay, so
Right.
that's because there's plenty of stuff out there for newbies. So what we're creating is for that advanced seller. That you need different information and you need different tools and different strategies when you're growing as opposed to when you're starting. So
Kevin King was on the podcast, depending on when you're watching this, but it was just last week. And he mentioned something. So both him and I were at a Howard Ties event in Paris. Yes. It was great. He did a great job. But this is exactly what you just said. Sitting around the fire was worth more than the event itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Or is it at that last event at the Mexican restaurant where you and I...
Yeah, there we go. That was a lot of fun.
Well, it was a lot of fun. So it's at the fire. It's in front of the fire. It's having drinks. It's at breakfast. It's at the coffee breaks is where, you possibly, in fact, I can almost guarantee is where you're going to get more value. And the speakers are fantastic and the presentations are always awesome and you take lots of notes, but the value is, the fireside chats. And it's interesting because I was chatting to somebody who was looking at coming yesterday and she said, oh, why are you doing it, in the Yarra Valley, which is, away from the city? Why aren't you doing it in the city? And I said, well, because we want to, get everybody there, lock the door so they can't escape. That's the whole purpose of the event, is to lock you in the room with people who are better than you and stretch you. That's it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So if you're listening and you want to get involved, and I'm not talking about just going out to Regina's event, but going out to an event, a mastermind, get involved, especially if this is going to be,
pick one.
Pick one and just get involved. And if you can't afford it, go to a meetup. They're free. Find information, find a virtual summit. And then maybe when you're more comfortable, there's all sorts of price points where you can afford to go out and start participating, start engaging. Our group right now, Lunch with Norm, the Amazon Ecom Collective, start looking at that, start posting in there, see what other people are posting. But there's so much you can do to learn about the entrepreneurial mindset, to become a better seller, a better person. So that's important. And I think this has been we've gone down some rabbit holes here that I kind of didn't expect. And we were talking about this earlier. Like, we didn't say, oh, let's do this and then do this. We just said, let's have a freestyle conversation, basically. And we had a couple of points that we wanted to make sure that we brought out, but this is all something from both of our experiences. And I really appreciate you coming and talking about this today. If people want to get more information about you or your event, where should they contact you?
Look, I live on Facebook. That's my, I'm an oldie. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Instagram. They can find me mostly on Facebook, also LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm the only Regina Peterburgsky there is. So it's pretty easy to find me. I do have a podcast, Women on Amazon, which, is becoming more intermittent in my interviews as I get busy doing all sorts of other stuff. But I do have a podcast and also a Facebook community as well. But generally, if you want to reach out personally, Facebook Messenger is the fastest and the easiest way to contact me. And I welcome any and all inquiries. If you are a 7 or 8 figure seller that are looking to exit and want to have a chat about, very confidential chat about that, as to whether to do it now or what you need to do to set yourself up, my DMs are open. So
very
happy
good.
to talk about any of that. There you go.
Fantastic. Okay, so it is getting down to that time. Kelsey will do it live, but hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll have a second entry. And this giveaway today is fantastic. If you like what we're talking about, Regina has so much you can talk about, but it's a 30-minute consult. You can talk about anything. So,
Anything.
and again, I thank you for that consult and that giveaway today too. So right about now, we're going to go to a sponsor, and then Kelsey's going to hit the wheel of Kelsey. If you're selling on Amazon in 2022, you know how important it is to stand out from your competition. Let Honu Worldwide lend a helping hand with your product innovation to outcompete your competition online. That's right. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the success of your newly innovative product while Honu handles all the work. Visit honuworldwide.com for more information. That's Honu, Honu, worldwide.com, or email savings@honuworldwide.com. Okay, so it's about this time where Kelsey enters the room. I think he's just going to come on. You're not going to do it yet, right?
No,
Because there's nobody here.
well, we'll be doing it right now as I cut into the screen and during this live pre-recorded episode, and it's over. All right, so welcome everyone. I'm going to do the wheel right now. So I'm coming from live in Cancun, Mexico, and we're going to do the wheel of Kelsey. So of course, here we go. The wheel of Kelsey. Enjoy, everyone.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right, so thank you everyone who entered today's Wheel of Kelsey for the 30-minute consult with Regina. I'm going to shuffle these up and let's see who the winner is. Of course, as usual, if you are the winner, please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com. And it looks like Anna P is the winner, so congratulations. You'll have 48 hours to contact me and we'll set you up with Regina. So once again, thank you so much everyone for entering the Wheel of Kelsey. We do this every single podcast, so if you missed today, you can always enter next time. And we'll get back. There's just a few more minutes left, and enjoy the rest of your show. We will be back to our normal episodes on Monday. So hope to see everyone there, and enjoy the rest of the podcast. So yeah, there we go.
Congratulations to
Whoever the
won.
winner is. Congratulations. Hope you
I look
enjoyed
forward
it.
to meeting you and talking to you.
And I will be bringing with me in to Australia a Lunch with Norm mug. So the next time we talk, we can have a picture together with our Lunch with Norm mug.
We can have a picture with your Lunch with Norm mugs. I look forward to it. There'll be a lot of pictures. Some are for private consumption only. Then there will be, what happens in the Yarra Valley stays in the Yarra
There we
Valley.
go.
There will be some pics that are never made public, as has happened in previous events.
Yes. It was great having you on. I really appreciate you coming on and doing this.
Thrilled chatting with you, Norm.
I can't wait. July's coming up quick, and the event is going to be fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you there live.
I look forward to hanging out. I miss you. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Miss you too. Okay, so thank you, Regina, for coming on. I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. Kelsey's going to join us right now. And Kelsey, what should people do? Ring bells?
That's right. Make sure you smash
Jump
those
around.
like buttons. Give us those thumbs up if you enjoyed today's episode. If you are not part of our Facebook community, that's one place I definitely recommend you be there. It is our Beard Nation, our Beardos. They all join the Amazon FBA and eCommerce Collective. If you see anyone in the comment sections, you can pretty much guarantee that they're in the Facebook group as well.
Hashtag what's up
out.
Beardos.
Yes, you can definitely do that.
Beardos.
And I think that's it. If you have any questions, any topics that you want us to talk about, maybe you have a favorite guest that you're looking at on other podcasts and you want them to be on Lunch with Norm, let us know. Send me an email at k@lunchwithnorm.com. I'd be happy to take a look and see what I can do. And yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, you can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. I always like saying this about our community. We have an awesome community. We have an engaged community. We could not do this without the community that we have. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next Lunch with Norm.
Lunch with Norm.